Roboteers, stand by.
Megahertz with Dave and Tony Lund and Gordon Keeling.
Powered by two 12-volt motors, so at times we can actually go into 24 volts to give it the extra speed and extra power. It's controlled digitally by power relays, switching several different relays to give different movements. The receiver is actually fitted into the monitor itself.
3, 2, 1, activate.
Tony Lunt's greatest ambition in life was to meet Philippa Firestorm. Now, how ambitious is Megahertz? Lovely to look at, isn't it? And going against the angle grinders. And the ram rig, and squeezed in, a suicidal route it would seem, from Megahertz. And it is hurting, but surviving. Now against the mace-shaped pendulum. And beyond that, slow and surely, not down there, surely, the flame pit. Megahertz and the teddy bear surviving. Obviously liking it hot. Kill a lot. To impede and impair the route through. And Matilda just for good measure. But slow and surely, and into the end zone.
On the platform, Dave Lund, Tony Lund and Gordon Keeling. Well. Through to the end zone.
Yes.
We thought we were going to get barbecued and we got away with it.
Well, I thought the little mouse was going to be the first one to go, but he got away with it too.
Well, we put the mouse on so the robots would keep up it because we thought they were pet friendly.
Well, you're through to the end zone. Are you confident about the next round?
Yes, very.
Give them a round of applause.
Thank you.
Let's hope their confidence is not misplaced.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
71.8 kilos. Is this heavy enough to hold on against Sergeant Bash, which makes the first thrust? And Dead Metal there. Dead Metal capturing Megahertz in the pincers. Bashing it. That's not the way to go. Oh, no, that's suicide. That is suicide. You're going, you've gone.
Cease.
Just like the bus in the Italian job film, teetering, then going. The house robot's going with it. Megahertz, 22.2 seconds.
From Preston in Lancashire, Megahertz 2.
At last, Robo Wars enters the computer age.
Megahertz. Now, here, what's this about an automatic infrared weaponry system?
Well, what we've got on the side of the robots and on the front...
I'm going in.
Oh, you're going in.
Oh, we've got the keyboard. Very nice. And?
These photocells here
Yes.
detect a robot which comes within 6 inches of the side of it and automatically fires these axes.
These axes here, which you can't really see because they're padded up for now.
There we go.
Ooh!
Plenty of RAM from the 24-volt motors, loads of megabyte from the flipper axe and spikes, but monitor this lightweight armour closely and you'll see this computer bot could crash easily.
Roboteers, stand by.
On the left in the pod, Megahertz, Captain Dave Lund. On the right, Firestorm, Graham Bone and Hazel Haslock. Oh, they all look happy, don't they? For now. And on the left there, Cedric Slammer, Team Captain Jason Orty. And on the right, Colossus, captained by Robert Kenyon. There's Sergeant Bash in the arena for the house robots with the flamethrower. And once again, Sir Killalot, the deadly, the mighty, the awesome, the extremely, unworryingly ugly.
3, 2, 1.
So watch out for Firestorm 4 there to your right of your picture, the little yellow wedge. She did 3 for this competition already. We're seeing Cedric Slammer involved and almost turned turtle by Firestorm 4 and the flipper. And indeed, thrust up and over there, Cedric Slammer, a machine that uses a self-righting mechanism. We call them streamex in Robot Wars, if you're unaccustomed to that phrase. But at the moment, looks very sluggish. And were the wheels turning? If they're immobilised for more than 30 seconds, they are out. The judges will decide, and it seems to me that Firestorm 4 certainly has put paid to Cedric Slammer. Yeah, the weapon wheel, the vertical spinning heavy-bladed wheel is turning, but the ref bot and the judges are looking. There's Preston Sharkey in the middle there, looked a bit quizzical, didn't he? but the pit release button has been activated by Colossus. Oh, and now they're flipped up into the CPZ by Firestorm. Firestorm looking pretty impressive so far. Now they've got off the Megahertz. This is very good driving by Graham Bone. Very aggressive. And look at Colossus having released the pit button. Oh, and Sergeant Bash nearly into the pit. Then Colossus left themselves open for attack by Firestorm, and they've not recovered. The judges look on. I think they'll count Colossus out because they've been in the CPZ too long, having virtually driven themselves in there. I know they're twitching, but for me, they're out. Oh, Megahertz, meanwhile, on the verge of the pit, Firestorm pushes them into what would normally be a bit of gloom, doom and despondency. I'm not too sure. I think Megahertz might be allowed to carry on. For me, this machine, Colossus and Cedric Slammer there, have already gone in this heat. What do I know? Certainly Craig's going to have to help me out here, and the judges too. Oh, that's all we need! Firestorm have now gone in. Mayhem, absolute mayhem.
Firestorm, what a robot. Flips over Colossus, Colossus counted out. Flips over Cedric Slammer, Cedric Slammer counted out. Then he puts Megahertz 2 in the pits, but since the other two are counted out, Megahertz 2 lives to fight another day. Firestorm and Megahertz 2 go through!
Megahertz now as good as new. Show me the before.
This is the before or starter kit.
That's after round 1. This is going into round 2. So remember what it looks like now, because you're up against the nasty X-Terminator.
From Belmont in Hereford, X-Terminator. From Preston in Lancashire, Megahertz 2.
Roboteers, stand by.
Let's have a look at the X-Terminator boys in the pod. Marlon Pritchard will drive on the left, Simon Baldwin's at the weapons. And as for the Megahertz 2 team, Dave Lund is the driver, Tony Lund is at the control of the weapons, and Gordon Keeling supports. There in the arena once again is Mr. Psycho. And Growler. Fearsome.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
This for a place in the heat final, and Refbot this time stay out of the way. Exterminator straight in on the attack, 100 kilos up to 18 miles an hour, spinning to come again at Megahertz. Low ground clearance for Megahertz. You can see there the side sort of flanges that prevent Exterminator or other opponents getting in underneath, but they've still managed to shove Megahertz 2 into the flame pit. And part of Megahertz 2, the console already has been ripped away and flung across the arena floor. But do you see Megahertz there getting the flipper in underneath Exterminator? And they're not too bothered about that superficial damage. Top of the picture, Mr. Psycho looks on. Into the CPZ goes Megahertz, and in comes Growler. Very quick across the arena there. Very fast. He uses a skid steer system, very maneuverable. And down crunches the Growler jaws, hydraulically powered and crushing with a pressure of 4 tons on Megahertz 2. Megahertz 2 is now at the mercy of Growler, and thus far it has shown little signs of mercy. Exterminator then on top so far, trying to get the scoop in underneath Megahertz to tee it up for the pneumatic axe to come thrusting down. If Megahertz 2 has a hope here, I think they have to flip Exterminator. We know it doesn't like flipping its lid, Exterminator. And that's exactly what they're trying on the arena sidewalk. Now can Megahertz 2 lift Exterminators 100 kilos up and out of the arena? I don't think so. What are they doing? Did Megahertz 2 try and take on Mr. Psycho? What with those little axes? You have got to be joking. The pit release button activated. Are they mad, Megahertz 2? But who's on top here? Exterminator, to me, has suddenly been bashed and smashed and hopes crushed. Or has it? It's backed away. Megahertz 2 is, we know, had that superficial damage. This is very close, you know, for the right to meet Firestorm 4 in the heat final. Now, will Mr. Psycho's entrance be decisive? Bash! Oh, I think so. Down came that huge club, 30 kilos in weight, travelling at 60 miles an hour, and still Megahertz 2 survive. That's the power of these robots in this series. You want to design one, you've got to come up with something to match this best of the very best. Mr. Psycho looks on, down comes the grabbing arm. Poor old Megahertz 2 has done very little wrong.
Close to call. We're going to have to go to the judges to look at style, control, damage and aggression. While they make their minds up, let's review some hot robot action.
Hot, it was at boiling point. X-Terminator came in underneath Megahertz and thrust it into the flame pit. Point scored for X-Terminator for style, control and aggression. More damage caused to Megahertz there. Was it only superficial? Growler took control of Megahertz, losing points all the while, but then it came back into it to flip up X-Terminator almost out of the arena. Point scored for Megahertz. Until the very end. Will that be the decisive action? The judges will have to decide.
And the judges have made their decision. You know the criteria. Damage control, style, aggression. They've gone for X-Terminator! Guys, you had a head-to-head with both Mr. Psycho and Growler.
Two brand new robots, and we had to get them both at once.
And I tell you what, Mr. Psycho almost turned you into a pancake.
It's a very powerful hammer, is that?
But you kept going, though.
Well, yes. Yeah. Quite tough underneath, actually.
The sort of plastic screen at the top.
Oh, that's just cosmetic.
That's cosmetic.
Good job as well.
Disappointed?
Not really. We've got better than what we expected. We're only here for the fun and enjoyment, so hopefully we did better than what we expected. So.
Well, you actually inflicted a bit of damage on them as well, in a way, because their axe broke off and is in your body somewhere.
I think so, yes.
We pinched it, really. We pinched it.
Well, you have to give them it back later on, all right?
Oh, no, we won't.
Okay, then. Well, just guess what, then? I'll give them it back. All right.
From Preston in Lancashire, Megahertz Limited.
Fighting in their fourth wars, trouble is they've never been out of the heats.
You are veterans to Robot Wars, aren't you?
We started in Series 2.
You started in Series 2, it's now War 7.
We're getting old.
You're getting old, but your robot's pretty new.
It's brand new this year.
So what have you got to give us this year?
It's got full gas bottle pressure on the ram. It's got 2 rams on it, and it should throw things out of the arena this year.
The keyboard's a CO2 full pressure flipper, so is the screen, which also acts as a Streamex, steel construction, polycarbon protection. Looks neat until we turn up the heat.
Roboteers, stand by.
Let's have a look at the teams. The Scrapper, Andrew Brown and Lee Shaw on the left. Megahertz, captained by Dave Lund on the right. Tony Lunt is with him, of course. And Agro, Terry Carlin is the captain on the left. Revolution 3, captained by Roger Webb, Gordon Anderson with him. So is Dead Metal for the house robots in the arena, the war zone. And Growler as well. Is his bark worse than his bite?
3, 2,
No.
1. Activate.
And off we go. I'm intrigued by Megahertz LT, the LT for laptop. Intrigued to see if it can do better, not on the evidence of that. That was a mighty blow from St. Agro with the double-sided double flipper. Scrapping away out there. Revolution 3 and the Scrapper 2. Megahertz tumbled and rumbled by St. Agro. Can they self-right now? We're seeing the Scrapper centre of the arena, spinning but not really causing any danger. Revolution 3 looks nippy and aggressive. Megahertz, to be honest, looks in a bit of trouble. Has the side spikes, the ramming spike at the back as well. I like the look of Revolution 3 at up to 12 miles an hour. Not quite the quickest. I like the look of St. Agro with the double flipper as well. Trouble is with flippers, as I'm sure you know now, all you roboteers out there, if they are powered by a CO2 bottle, the supply is limited, so is the life of the scrapper. Gone. Andy Brown and Lee Shaw. And St Agro in underneath the scrapper's ground clearance. And that was the end of that one. Almost looks as if it's grinning, doesn't it there, St Agro? Poor old scrapper. So, from the evidence of what we've seen so far, St Agro is the strongest here. Who will go through with it? Megahertz. Ooh. Well, hasn't got great RAM capability in that laptop. St Agro wedged into dead metal. The Megahertz laptop has crashed. And it can't evade Growler. Suffering from some sort of virus, perhaps. And Growler hardly a mouse out there in the war zone. Revolution 3 and St Agro for me. They don't want to cause each other any damage because they've done the hard work. But hang on a minute, is Revolution 3 still moving? Is St Agro's jaw locked open? The countdown will surely defeat Megahertz. But there could be work to be done on St Agro's weaponry and on Revolution 3. Megahertz out, the scrapper already gone, so we have our second round teams through. Megahertz won't be there, so Growler can do his worst. Dog with a bone. Well, I'll put it on the floor flipper or the pit. The drop zone is another option. Pit, 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 they want. They are gruesome, aren't they? They get the flipper. And Megahertz, 91 kilos. A flying laptop. Ignominy in the end for Megahertz. As dead metal comes in. Anyone who owns a laptop will be grimacing at this moment in time. With the screen and the keyboard. But it all got locked up. The memory was lost. And as for a byte, there's a megabyte. From Growler. Back in the old laptop case. That did Megahertz.
Well, Scrapper is turned to scrap metal. Megahertz laptop feels the pain. St Agro and Revolution 3, they go marching